Thanks, everybody.
You want me to go downstairs and see if anybody's stuck in the
I
lobby?
think you unlocked them. He fixed it.
Okay.
Thank you. You had us all locked out.
He fixed it. All right, thank you all for coming. We're gonna be talking about the Mayor's Matching Grant. The Mayor's Matching Grant was created to streamline the process for nonprofit organizations to apply for grant funding with the City of Lake City. Zoom Grants is the program we are utilizing for these grants. We have Jennifer Yost with Zoom Grants on Zoom to go over the application with everyone. She will also be available for questions after her presentation. All right, you ready, Jennifer?
Try it again.
There we go. So you should be seeing a PDF. So how-to guide for applicants. And of course, I will be sharing this afterwards so that you guys can have an electronic copy. So a few quick tips. Zoom Grants University is our online knowledge base. That is your user guide. And there's a help link right within the top of the application. So you can always access it at any time that you have questions. It does have a search feature, so you can just put in keywords, and it will take you to all the articles that have that keyword. Our system also has an autosave feature, so you will not find a save button anywhere, so don't even look for it. So it automatically saves as you're going through the application. You click out of the text box, you change the item, so you select one option versus the other. It's going to automatically save, and it's going to have a flashing screen. Once that flashing screen is done, the system is saved and you can move on to the next question. We do run on a tab system, so you can work on different parts of the application at different times. And so you can work on the questions, you can work on the budget, and navigate through each of them. We also have an auto check, so it should check for completion. So it's going to check that every question has been answered and every document has been uploaded that's marked as required. So you'll see this. So we always recommend do not wait until the end to try to submit your application, just in case one of the documents didn't get uploaded. So just whenever that happens and you've completed it, you may have to hit the refresh button depending on your internet browser to make sure and check that things have been uploaded. So those are just some quick tips. To get started, you're going to have to create a Zoom Grants account. So the link that you're going to get from the city, Lake City, is going to take you to the homepage for this application. And on the right-hand side, you're going to get create my account. You're going to need an email and a password, first name, last name, and you're going to be applying as an organization, is my understanding. So you want to click that, and then you're going to finish setting up your account, putting in all your organizational information. You have to do this once and once only, and you're done. We also have a forgot my password process on our website that you can go through if you happen to forget your password between starting your application and coming back to finish it. Let's start a new account. Once you have created your account and you're returning, you'll be able to just go to the existing Zoom Grants user up here at the top and be able to put in your email and your password and be able to go back to all of the applications you've ever created. You'll also, once you have logged in, you'll see an Apply Now button, which allows you to apply for any open program and create that application. In the application, just a quick tour. So you run on as a tab system. At the top, you're going to have a contact admin. This is going to give you the email address that you can contact the admin about questions about the program. You're going to also see all of the tabs that are associated with the application. So these are the instructions. You're going to see a print preview. So if you need to share your application with someone on staff who doesn't have access to Zoom Grants and you want to go through and mark it up so you can go and make your edits, you can do a print preview. So you can create a PDF print or printer-friendly version. You'll also see an open program. Doesn't quite apply for this program because there is only one program, but if there was multiple types of programs from the city that they had available, you could see them in the open programs tab. So the summary is where you're going to provide the contact information. So again, this is, you fill this out once. If you filled it out as part of your account setup, you don't have to fill this out again. Just a reminder, the system does automatically save between each field. So give it a second every time you click out and wait for that flashing saving screen to finish. Because if you do interrupt it, it does not save the information. So the tabs that will be seen are completely dependent on if the city has used it. So if there's a pre-application that's an eligibility screening, you'll see that. In this case, there is not, this application with Lake City does not have this. But if all the tabs are part of the application show applications that are not relevant to your program, you can ignore in this presentation when you get the PDF afterwards. The application tab may be called something else, but this is where you're going to find all the questions associated with the application in the live version. And you're going to go through and answer the questions. You're going to have paragraph style questions. You're going to have table questions where you fill in numbers. You're going to have multiple choice, and you're going to have check boxes. On the budget, you're going to have budget tabs. So you're going to provide the item description, and you're going to fill out the columns for the amount. And just reading through that and making sure it's all accurate. The system does total calculate automatically. You may have to refresh your screen depending on your browser after you put in that information. Tables, this is going to be the additional forms tab for the city. This is where you're going to answer some additional questions. The fields are resizable, so if it is a paragraph style, you can make it larger by clicking on the little 2-3 lines in the corner of a paragraph style to make it larger so you can see it. Also, as a reminder, to refresh, to update any totals if there are totals. Documents tab. So you're going to have a lot of different documents that are going to be required by the city. Some will state that they are required. Others will state they will not have the required number or required language, but they still may be required based upon your type of project. So definitely read what the instructions are for the documents to know if it's required for your type of project or not. But if it is required, it will prevent you from submitting your application if you have not uploaded something. And always make sure to test that you've uploaded the correct document, because it is common that people will upload a wrong document or a picture of the family dog on accident, because it's right next to that document they're planning to upload. When you are ready to submit, you are going to click on that Submit Now button, and you're going to be prompted to sign or initial on certifications. So make sure to read those certifications that you're agreeing to the submission of the application. Please note we have two types of user types. If you do not see a Submit Now button, that means you're called a collaborator. A collaborator has been invited by an applicant to help work on the application with them. So that means you could be the primary person, you could be inviting other people to help you with the application, such as a finance person to do the budget, or other staff to help upload the documents while you're working on the narrative. Collaborators cannot submit applications. So you can't leave it for one of them to actually submit that application when you are done. But when you are submitting, make sure to triple check and that everything is correct and hit that submit button. The system will automatically date and timestamp it that it has been submitted, and you will receive a notification automatically from notices@zoomgrants.com that the application has submitted. It will also include some additional language and instructions from the city, but it is confirmation that your application has been submitted. So when you are working on your application, you can start on it and come back to it. You do not have to do it all in one sitting. So you will be able to go to your Zoom Grants account home, and you're going to be able to see all the applications that you have started using your Zoom Grants account. So if you are an organization that's also working in some other communities that are using Zoom Grants, you may already have an account for your organization, so definitely double check. But when you do go in there, you're going to see all the applications you've ever started with your Zoom Grants account. And you're going to have all the incomplete applications. So until you have submitted it, it will appear under incomplete. Once you've submitted it, it will live under the submitted application. Then once the city has made the decision, it will move to the approved or the declined. And then you'll move on to any post decision if you have been approved to move forward with an award. We already talked about that, sorry. So archiving your application. So if you created an application and decided you don't want to move forward with it and you want to archive it or delete it, it is a two-step process to permanently delete an application. The first step is an archiving, where you can move that application so it's not on your dashboard and it can be just sitting there. Or if you want to permanently delete it, then you're going to delete it again from the archive. So it is a two-step process, but when you do hit that second delete, it deletes it permanently from our system. Zoom Grants is not able to recover it. So if you are going to delete, make sure you really do want to delete it. So just like you created it completely on accident, or two of you on staff created it, and it's actually only one person should have been doing it. Just some final tips is save yourself stress. Start early, finish early, and submit early. This will also be very helpful for the city so they know what's happening. But making sure to submit that application early and test that you can make sure that you have submitted it, not waiting until 4:59 on the 26th to submit it. Definitely reach out to Zoom Grants if you're having any technical issues. Checking out Zoom Grants University. We have a lot of technical support articles on there to help you navigate through the system. But making sure to reach out early, because unfortunately, we do not work 24/7. So if you're reaching out at 10 o'clock at night, unfortunately, you may not be able to get assistance until the next morning. So definitely go through the system and make sure everything is working before that last day so that you can get all the support that you need. And so Zoom Grants University is help.zoomgrants.com. And you can also reach out to our technical support or give us a call if you are having technical questions. Again, if you have questions about is this eligible or not, please reach out to the city because we cannot answer that. With that, I am now going to switch to the live version of the application. One moment, and let me switch over to that. Okay, so once you have received that link and you click on the link to the city's application, I am already logged in. Unfortunately, I can't show you how to create an account as I have created so many accounts, but this is what it's going to look like. You're going to have the open program and apply now and a preview. The preview will give you a online preview of the application. It's going to look exactly like, oops, sorry, timed out. But it's good. I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. But that's a perfect example. Is the system will automatically time you out if you have been sitting for too long. It is a security measure, so you will have to log back in. So definitely, if you get that call and you're on that call and you come back to the system, it may not look like you've logged out yet. So test it before you spend 20 minutes typing something up, and then you're like, oh, it didn't save anything because you had been logged out. So always making sure that you are logged in before you move on if you've been sitting for a while. but you're going to be able to click that apply button and go straight into the application. One moment, I have to switch to another because only one application is allowed in this program. So I'm going to show you what it looks like after you started the application. I've switched users, switched to a different user. What it looks like after you've created your application and you're coming back to it, you're going to find it right down here. This is where you're going to find it rather than in this preview. And you're going to be able to click on that button and come back to the application. And this is what the application looks like. This help button up here is how you're going to get to Zoom Grants University.
Where's the button?
This is also,
Jennifer, we're not on the same.
We can't see the,
you're not seeing it? Okay. How's that? Are you seeing my mouse move?
Yeah, we can. Yes.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you for stopping me and not letting me go forever. The help button is right here at the top. It is a little difficult to see because of the color scheme, but it is right up here. It says help. And that will take you to Zoom Grants University. I'm going to open another link. Oops, it's blocked. So let me try that. It'll bring you down and give you some helpful tips and take you to Zoom Grants University. And this is the live location of that help. And the information is going to take you to that applicant information. You're going to be able to type in a keyword search like savings. And it'll pull up everything that has to do with savings so that you can go through those all those technical articles about the system. I'm going to go back to that form. I'm going to hide that. And so this is the application. Here is where you're going to update your account profile. So if you ever need to change who you are, that you have a name change or your address changes, or you need to change your organization's information, versus this is all fake information, or you need to change your actual email. So many organizations will change their emails from a .com to a .org, and like, but I still need to get the information. You can change your email and your password. So back into that application. So we do run on a tab system. So you can see your view open program, and you can also hide all the instructions after you've read them. So the first one you're going to see is some helpful links that take you straight to Zoom Grants University articles. The saving screen is still flashing. Now what? If there is a blip in your internet, it will stop saving. Or if you're copying and pasting formatted text. So make sure not to try and have bullets in there or try to bold information, because this is about just straight text. This allows for the city to do all of their merges and mail merges that they need to, and the formatting doesn't allow them to do that. But this gives you all the instructions and the open date and due date, potential optional extensions, the requirements, the restrictions, and then you can come all the way down to that application. This is where you're going to enter the project title. You're going to make your requested amount. The city has identified that $10,000 is the max that can be requested, and you're going to also enter your project cost. The applicant information will auto-populate, and so will the organization information. You're going to also put in your CEO or executive director. This is where you invite others to help you with your application. They're called collaborators. They are giving them access to edit the application data answers to help you. You're going to provide the email address, first name, last name, title. Give them actual access to edit the application, and then make sure to invite them. This gets missed a lot. You actually do have to click the invite button so that the Zoom Grant system will actually send them an email. In the application question, as a reminder, you are applying for the fall cycle, and your program does have to start before March 30th, but fully expended by September 30th. So if you're starting December 2nd, you're perfect. But if you're planning to start April 2nd, you need to wait for the spring cycle. You are going to select that fall cycle, the type of program that you are applying for, provide a brief description, and then a more detailed description. Describe the purpose of your program, who is the intended benefit, what information about your target population, how many people will be benefiting, how are you going to recruit them, and if there's a fee or not. And if there is a fee, provide how much, what it is. You have up to 140 40 characters, which you can put in here, so you can put a little bit of detail, but you can't give an entire paragraph. You're going to talk about your project activities that will take place, how volunteers will be recruited, trained, and supported. Do you have any partnerships and what those are? A brief description of what your timeline for implementation. You do have a more complete timeline that you will have to complete in the timeline table chart. Organizational history, when did you start? What is your primary services, your history, and then 2 assertions. So they're asking if grant requests are partial funding, can you still move forward? Can you raise additional funds? And that you understand that a level 2 background screening will have to be completed on all staff prior to actual contract execution. So any award is conditional on actually participating and passing level 2 background screening. But they're not asking you to do it as part of the application, only if you're awarded. So you can scroll all the way back up to the tab, or you can click that next button. I'm going to hide these so I don't have to scroll through them again. And then I have my proposed budget. We do have a tip here that it might be easier to complete the additional forms tab first before doing your project budget, as the volunteer match contribution chart and the in-kind contribution cash match table will give you the numbers to help you fill out the budget. So I'm actually going to go there first just to assist with that. So the volunteer contribution, you're going to put in your volunteer information and how many hours, and then the system will auto-calculate that total match value that you'll need for your budget. The in-kind contribution, again, putting in the in-kind contribution, the value of the match received and value pledged, making the difference between the, distinction between the two. The system will do the auto tabulation, and then you have an optional additional description if you need some more space for it. And then you have cash match. So up above is the in-kind, and now here's the cash. So you're going to provide the description of the cash match, how much of it is received versus pledged. The system will auto-calculate, and you can provide an additional description. And then you get a full total to make sure it matches with your budget. This is where you're going to give a more detailed work plan. So in the application, you're saying it's through the summer, it's through the spring, it's through the winter, it's school break, but this is where you're going to give a more detailed. And here's just an example. You're having the award notification and background check. It's going to be your first thing that you're doing. Then you're actually going to execute that contract and start, and then each of your milestones that you're needing to do. You're identifying the title, the description, how often, the date it should be done, and who is responsible of the project staff member. Then you're going to have a staffing plan. And the staffing plan is your staffing, which could include your volunteers. So you don't necessarily know who that volunteer is. You're going to actually recruit them. And you can see that savings screen came up because I clicked in and I clicked out. So that's exactly what that savings screen looks like when you click out of the text box. And you can make these bigger as necessary so that you can see a little bit more, or make it smaller if you would like. And then down at the very bottom is where you're going to actually put in your projected performance outcomes. So these are your proposed outcomes. Is what is your outcome and how do you plan to measure that the outcome has been met? So you have up to 4 outcomes and provide that statement and the measurement. Please note, if you are successful and awarded, your proposed outcomes may be changed during contract negotiations, and it will be the contractually obligated outcomes that you will have to report against. So know that you may go through some contract negotiations with the city, and these may change. The changed ones is what you may have to go through. With that, I am going to go back to the budget. And so there is a request of do not change or edit the item descriptions that are pre-populated by the city of Lake City. You can edit the item descriptions that say other. So these first ones, mayor's matching grant, so that's how much you're requesting, and then all your cash and in kind. So this is the summary amount of cash, in kind, the value of the volunteer time, and then your anticipated sources of remaining funds. What are these other funds? And these are the ones that you're asked to edit, so actually identify what that other source of funding is. that you're going to use if it's not cash and in kind. Then you're going to give an expenses. Again, the city is asking you not to change these first ones at the top, only the ones identified as other expense edit. So that the ones identified as edit, please edit those, the others don't. Then you're going to put in how much you're going to use of this request on each of the line items, how much of cash match, and how much of it in kind that you're going to provide as your match. And then your proposed budget narrative. So this is where you're going to give a little bit more description of how you came to the amount, such as, you know, we're buying t-shirts and each t-shirt is $16 and we're buying 20 of them. So that's a way of describing it. And so we went through the additional forms and then the documents. And here are the documents is where you're going to upload the documents as applicable to your program. So number of documents and all marked as required. And then a miscellaneous, so that we don't know where it really goes, but you want to provide it, goes here, and this is where you're going to upload it and provide that information. To upload a document, you're going to click on the upload button, and it's going to open up a second window. Are you guys seeing the second window?
No.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
No.
No. Hold on. Now are you seeing the second window, document requested?
Yes.
Fabulous. It worked. So when you click on the upload, secondary window will come up, and this is where you're able to give a file description of the name. You're able to go find that file on your own network system, or if it's a link to a file that's external, such as a Dropbox or a hyperlink to a website, link that information. And file upload, you're going to go and choose, identify it, and you can see a variety of different documents are allowed within the system. Please note there is an individual size limitation of 4 megabytes. It is actually really large to have 4 megabytes, but if it is larger than that, try to compress it or split the document into 2 parts, part 1, part 2. You can upload multiple documents to one document slot. So you don't have to worry about putting it somewhere else. It can go into that same location. And then you're going to hit the upload now button. If you have uploaded a document into the wrong section, all right, gotta get back to that page. This is only showing individual tabs rather than a screen, sorry. If you have uploaded the wrong document, you will see that it says delete. So you can delete it and then upload the corrected document anytime. When you are completely done, you're going to now click that Submit Now button. And you're going to have those certifications. So we have the one from Zoom Grants, which is our standard certification. You provide us accurate information and that you are agreeing to the terms of using Zoom Grants, which allows us to share the information with the city. That you're only using our system to put the information for the city to collect. And then the certification from the city. And so making sure to read all of that information, and once you're good with it, put in your initials and then hit the Submit Now. If it's good, it's going to do that. If it's not, it's actually going to bring up a screen of red text to say you're missing information. And that is how to go through. And you can see it says it's successful. I can download a PDF, and I will receive an email from notices@zoomgrants.com and be able to go back to my account profile, and now, not account profile, my account home, apologies, and I'll be able to see that now it is in my submitted list. City of Lake City. Sorry, this is our demo account. That's why there's so many types of programs in here. But that is how to use Zoom Grants. Any questions on using Zoom Grants?
Oh, it's right here, she's got some dates. I don't see the deadline date to apply. I see when the
September 26th.
projects have to start, but it says the project has to start.
Well,
by
that's
September
September
30th.
First page.
That was on Saturday.
Have September 26th. Is that right?
I'm gonna go over some important reminders, but is there any questions for Jennifer on the
Application.
application process? No?
No.
Okay, Jennifer, I think that's it, they don't have any questions about that. but we're gonna discuss some other things.
Thank you.
Thank you, and definitely I will get this information to you, Terry, so you can share it with them tomorrow. And good luck, everybody.
I do have one.
We do have one question.
Yeah, when you,
Okay.
we have to submit the matching fund, proof of matching funds. Has it been donated or is it pledged? How far back can we go to claim those funds? If we're gonna have to have it in to you by September 26th, anything we've received since January of this year, we can use as matching?
That's more of a question for you, Terry, of what is the time period of what's considered matching. With us, it's an amount you're put within Zoom grants, it's an amount and the source.
Okay.
It can't be a program that's already occurred, correct?
No.
No,
And
but
there's no, and it says, as a matter of fact, in the application, no expenses prior to the award. So you can only claim expenses post-award.
okay. And what about in-kind donations? Same thing, we can go back? I like, for instance, somebody recently put a sound system in for us so people that had hearing problems could hear. But that was done a few months ago, so if we apply now, can we count that? Certainly we'll be using it. So nothing before when? Tell me. when.
Prior to the award date.
Well,
So once you're
well, then how do
awarded
we
the
know-
grant,
How do we count it then if it's,
Because she said any received or
You'd be
pledged.
talking about pledges, or you'd be talking about things that you could anticipate.
think
Well, that's a
things we don't
pledge.
don't have to?
That's a
You-
pledge,
you
we should
basically
say
forecast in
received
the
versus
future.
pledged. How do we claim
that is
received?
what she said.
But that's the way those grants are done.
Say, I think what she's trying to ask is, say we're doing some fundraising in-house and get donations
In anticipation of
in
applying.
anticipation of doing a program. We're doing something. At what point can we start collecting those donations? At what point can we start reporting them as donations toward a matching grant? I think that's what Sherry's trying to ask.
Yes, and it would be the date that you, the, what is it, the
After
awarded
November?
date, the November,
So November,
or their submission date, what do you,
No expenses or any of that prior to the award date.
to the award date?
So if you're anticipating or people have pledged, I would have them make that donation after the award date so that you can.
Oh, that's dangerous to wait till the end though, don't you think? We need to know.
And our award date is November, around November first.
that's a little confusing.
So we have to know by November the 1st who's gonna, where these funds are coming from for them to match it. Is that what you're saying?
So that one,
Like if we know a corporation is going to give us $15,000 and we know we're not gonna get that until January of next year. We go ahead after November the 1st of this year, we submit for that, matching funds for that amount that they're gonna be giving us. Is that correct?
No,
Alright, you
You
just
gotta know.
confused me.
We gotta know.
it does get
That's what
very
I'm saying.
confusing.
I would think you would respect us more to have that in hand than say, oh yeah, they said at the start of the new year, they're gonna give you the matching funds. We don't, what if they renege, or what they go out of business, or whatever, then we don't have that in hand, we gotta go raise it again someplace else. So that's why, when she said put whether it's received or pledged, I would think we could start collecting whenever we go in and start submitting this.
But that's up to the city. I
That's
don't
why
think
I'm
that's up
asking.
to Jennifer, right?
No, it's,
Poor
Yes,
Jennifer.
correct.
And I'm sorry, tell us who you are.
My name is Cheryl Jackson, I'm the Assistant Finance Director.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
James,
I'm just curious, that particular rule or detail or what have you, is it something Zoom grant related or is it like a guideline we?
That's ours, which we can, through further discussion, adjust to.
Because it just seems like I get the idea of
Yeah.
like post-application, like in the interim between
Mhm.
application and receiving the thing.
That
But
would
maybe it'd
be
be the
the
time,
concept.
because then, it seems to me like what do we call it, a prerequisite of receiving it is
Right.
proof in some
Exactly.
way that you got the in-kind, right?
and this, like I said, we've been working on this for months.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, just getting it off the ground has been huge.
No, that's-
So I'm sure we will, you know, have some,
Yeah, we're gonna have to
Discussion.
revisit some.
Yes.
Yeah, we're
and,
gonna
and
have,
so
there's
I'm
gonna be
glad
hiccups,
y'all
we're gonna have to
pulled that,
revisit.
you know, brought that up. That way we can discuss
Yeah,
that
'cause
to
we'd like
see.
to start contacting, you know,
Right,
respected people right now, and not wait till the end to see if we can get it together.
And do it in 6 weeks, I don't know if we can, what we could do it in 6 weeks' time, that's what we're trying to do. 4
And
weeks,
Cheryl,
thank
what
you.
happens to this, what if y'all award to somebody and then they can't pull it off, what happens to that money?
The funds are reimbursed after the expenses are incurred,
Oh,
so
till the very end.
we're not giving money for, you know what I'm saying, so
I
you
got it.
have to provide receipts and affidavits and everything of that nature in order to.
So whoever gets this grant's gonna have to carry all the expenses of it till, when's the end date?
Whenever your
Once the
program
project is complete.
Once your program is.
What, or what's the end date, March 30th or something for that first cycle?
Yeah, I think so, right? It has to be completed by March 3rd.
No, fall cycle fully extended, oh, by next year.
It has to be
Yeah,
up by
yeah.
November 30th.
Right, so it is a reimbursable grant, like you spend money, you do things, for instance, you get a $10,000 approval, you've spent $20,000, you come back after you're done and say, here's my receipts, and you get reimbursed for the 10.
Yes.
Yeah, what happens to those people that don't, the money just goes back to who, the city?
The city, and then that's why we have another cycle. Because if there's money left over or somebody that didn't use it, then we can,
You can do, say you applied in the fall, you fully expended yours is done, there's still funds available in the second half of the year, you could get the second grant.
You can only get one a year, correct?
One at a time, I thought it was.
Yeah, one at a time is what she said.
yes.
So if we have a continuing program that we're gonna run year round, we could theoretically get it for the fall, and get it for the next spring, and the next fall, and the next spring.
Yes, currently there's $100,000 budgeted for this program, and that would be up to council and city manager. If this program grows and say we're able to up that amount, the budget allows it, then, you know, I think this program could grow. This is just our starting.
So who's putting up the money? The city's coming up with 100,000?
Yes.
How did Zoom get here?
They are the platform
That
for
we're
the
using to
application.
facilitate.
So they're not giving any money.
They run the
No.
program
Oh.
specifically.
The system, just the system and code.
That's like Microsoft for us, that's where you go, just like she said, that's where you go to
So
do
like
the
if we're
application.
trying to say, move to a different location or buy a building or something like that, that we could make application, and we have pledges, we could make application like periodically, say 3 different applications if the money's still available.
Well, there are guidelines in what the application, or what the grant does cover. So if you're talking about grants to actually physically buy that land or that building or whatever, I don't think
That's
it's,
all right.
I didn't
Like
see that in the
programs.
restrictions.
it is, it's in the restrictions.
So what are the
I
restrictions,
didn't
is
see,
what it
they're on the bottom of the first page. They start on the bottom and then they end on the next one.
Because it says historical on here, and if you want to renovate a historical building, that's no.
There's a section in there, capital projects are not included as far as the grant.
Which ones are saying, which ones?
Where is
Is
on the
that
bottom of
true?
page 1?
Improvements or
It's a tiny
renovations,
print.
whether it will be on
And this is what's online, she just wants to give you a hard copy so you'll be able to look at it.
Yes, so the ones with the ballet up here has on here, non-eligible project expenses, and it has capital improvements on it.
Where is that? Why am I
Equipment,
missing?
see, like
That's on
the
this
microphone.
It's on the
here.
project guidelines.
The third page, is your,
Looks like,
Yes.
yeah, you got it right
right
there.
down there.
Ah, there we go.
Oh, yeah, they're
Capital
clearly spelled
improvements.
out. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We didn't get them in time, but really,
Yeah.
Thank you, sorry for the questions.
Well,
No,
you know.
that's what
Thank
this
you.
workshop is for, is questions, because we have, and this is Angie, our finance director,
Hi,
Angie Taylor, so.
But you know, we're gonna be in touch, and.
You didn't want her to give,
They may not
give
do
you.
that, but then they
If you have
may
any questions, you can call me and I can, we,
teach
us
Y'all have
four
cards
here,
with you tonight that we could get?
I could get,
drones would be a cat.
Yeah, we definitely would.
Thousands.
cause I'll pretty much be the contact person for it, and if I can't answer
Be
it,
willing
I
to
go
pay
to
for
finance
salary.
and
And
they.
tell me your name.
Terry.
Terry.
Oh, God, Terry. You
Well, Jeannie, it's been a long day, that's all I'm saying.
It has been a long time.
I'm sorry, I'm
For
not
all.
back in the cruise, I'm still on vacation.
Well, that
A
sounds
lot of
fun.
people don't know how to do
Yeah, it
that.
says no
Grants, they
rewards.
just sit here on this,
10
years.
Come back to the
and if I can figure out how to crack.
So when your email gets like bombarded with like that request,
Not gonna hate it.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's gonna be a
So
process.
it's
Yes,
little
and we're
bit-
all learning
Well,
to,
yeah.
we're still learning.
Absolutely,
with
absolutely.
every process, there's growing pains and there's figuring things out
Or to
and.
get to the other.
But this
You
is
are
a
correct.
lot
That's
of
what
work.
they've done, and that's
And a lot,
normal.
because I did one for
You're
the
gonna do
national
grants,
arts
you
last year, and it's the same thing.
play by
You gotta
this.
gather up, they even required us for our artists to
This
have resumes for them. Had to gather up so much information.
Oh,
before we could even-
who pays for the background check?
Police department.
That our Lake City Police, the Lake City Police Department will do them.
They would do them.
Well, thank God, we should be okay then.
What if I've already had one, do I need another one?
Yes, you'll have to do it through them.
Get it through.
Too bad, girl.
I did it through the sheriff.
But it's only for the person that wrote the grant, who's
No.
it for?
No,
All
it's for all the staff.
All staff, okay.
Wait a second.
Now, is that
We only
paid
have
staff?
one that's real staff that's.
Right,
Oh,
is that
we're all
paid
volunteers.
staff?
We're volunteers.
Or volunteers.
And anybody that's.
40
that's
people, we can
assigned.
Anyone
check back
who's
with
gonna
council.
Anyone who's gonna be
You
working the program,
have- She said 40, you have 40 volunteers.
Yeah.
yeah?
I thought about this before, it seems like maybe
All four.
maybe a board of directors and employees.
You're right.
I don't think
You're
volunteers.
right. So board of directors and.
Board of directors. That makes more sense.
Well, I've got to see what this thing represents, I mean,
Board of directors
the board of directors, okay.
and probably any paid staff.
And I did have that on here, that the PD will do free of charge. And, a couple other things that I just wanted to go over before we end this. This is a reimbursement program, which we've already discussed. You will invoice the city in order to have matching funds dispersed after meeting all requirements. All grant-funded activities must take place in the city limits. Grant funds are available with awards ranging from $500 to $10,000. Third party or other pass-through organizations are prohibited from applying. And what that means is if you have an organization, or you have, and then another organization goes through them to try to get funding.
To get the money.
Yes, so we don't allow that as well. To be eligible to apply for grants, you must have a federal tax 501c3. The applications will open tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed, right?
I'm gonna be doing all this tonight, right? No.
Be on time.
And before we leave, Jamie, you are gonna show on the city website where it's located, correct? Okay, he'll show you where the link will be located. All applications must be submitted by the end of day at 5:00 p.m. on September 26th. Applications will be awarded on or around November 1st. So, and then also I'm gonna have, Jamie, when Jennifer sends the PowerPoint, I'm gonna have him, you should be able to link that on the website. That was a very good PowerPoint of her explaining So I think that would be good to have that linked as well. So as soon as she sends me that, I'll get you that.
I do have one quick question.
Okay.
I just paged to, grant match stuff. Volunteer labor, would that then be anticipated? Cause volunteer labor is, something that would be,
On the application, it would be anticipated, after the
Yes.
fact, you're gonna have to have affidavits from
Affidavits.
those volunteers, attesting that they volunteered this many hours.
that they did or
They
they
did.
will?
They did.
Before you get the
That's
budget.
my
Now
question.
that's after.
No
No
refunds and all that.
After November, well,
Yes.
that's right, okay, cause it's reimbursement, so, okay.
Well, I could say to you, I went down and spent 10 hours here with an actuality I didn't.
Okay, let me ask you this, though. Like at the last city council meeting, the Richardson cheerleaders came and asked for a $5,000 donation. Why can't we just come and do that and not do all this work?
We're trying to get away from that
To be clear,
process.
just so you know, they haven't gotten it either, so that wasn't approved or anything.
Okay.
Technically, anyone can come and ask me. We're
They
trying
need
to
to be a
I want
fair
that
equal
$1,000
opportunity for everyone.
That and
And it hasn't always been,
So this is a platform or a way for us to make it fair for everyone,
but it's.
same qualifications, everybody has to do the exact same thing.
You gotta work for it if you want it.
That's right.
Exactly. Not just work for it, because I've done one of these before, it is so much work. The thing is, they gotta carry the 20,000 for almost a year.
What is the maximum amount we can?
Can't, we have 10, but we got an any up 10. So you're gonna have to carry the project 20,000 for a year. That's a lot, that's a lot.
Until the project's complete. If you do the program as a 3-month program, in 3 months you're done. And you do another program the following, the following cycle.
Well, it says it has to happen, but you're gonna give us the money on, or give us the award on November 1st. And then it says it has to start before March 23rd.
For the first set, for the first go. Was that the fall, or the winter?
Then March 30th through September 30th of 2025, so that's almost a year to carrying the project.
What I'm saying is, if you
If you
are
do that-
awarded a grant for a program that you say is gonna go from October to November, or October to December, that program ends in December, that's 3 months. You're done. Submit all your information, all your receipts, you are paid when that's done. You're not waiting till the end of September to get paid.
We don't have to wait for everybody else.
No,
as soon as
as your program's done, then you can submit.
So we're carrying it maybe to 6 months.
If your program lasts that long,
Your program lasts.
It depends on which program.
The important thing about carrying, by the way, just
Okay.
in-kind contributions and volunteer hours is a real way that works out. I mean, if you regularly got 40 volunteers, that'll add up to $10,000 in volunteer hours.
Absolutely.
Real fast.
That's at what,
And then you- then that's-
$26 now?
$26.30 per hour.
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
who's getting credit for that?
Any of your volunteers, if they come and spend,
Listen, girls.
so if any of your volunteers, if they come spend 6 hours working in the gallery or something like that, you take that down, you mark it down, you keep track of your volunteers' hours, and then you multiply that by 2650, I think is what it is, and then, effectively, once that number reaches 10,000, that your
That's your match.
your match doesn't have to be cash.
So the
Exactly.
$26.50 an hour is what you're allowing for volunteers, or you?
that's their hourly rate.
It's $26.31.
Or one
That's a
volunteer
good
had
job.
its minimum wage.
That was pretty good.
Well, we didn't know that, thank you for that.
Yes.
You got that, I didn't write that down.
Yeah, I
When you fill out-
Zoom grants is set up to calculate it for you automatically. You put your volunteer hours in there,
But that, we gotta know for the budget though, so we know how much we gotta come up with and so forth.
Yes.
Well, that's good, any other tip we want?
What's your telephone number?
I got his
But
contact.
hey, just, you mentioned before, this is very good, because there's been a feeling, whether or not it's true or not, for a long time, that like, getting money or not getting money depends on who you know up there. The whole idea about this is getting rid of that, so it may be tedious, but it's like, at least the best idea so far as
Well, and I agree,
making
but
everyone getting
I was,
fairly treated.
the people that are used to coming and making direct requests, I can't imagine them doing this work.
Exactly.
So what's gonna happen to the money?
And then also, you know,
It will be
holding
available
everyone
as you can.
accountable
It'll
because
be
you
available for
have
us the
to,
next
you have to,
cycle.
you know, do the matching. Plus you have to submit your receipts, things like that, and we've
Right.
never had to do that before.
That's gonna be a
We just
lot of work for
handed
you
out the
guys
money.
too.
Well, but we need accountability.
Yes.
Everybody's got.
That's the trick, it's,
I think
it's
that's
imperative
good.
that we know where the money's going, it's not any of our money, you know.
And then you know how much it's worth to the applicant.
Mhm.
Is it worth putting in the time and the effort, or you just want to stick your hand out and say, hey, I'd like to have a little bit of money here?
If you've ever done a federal grant, you have to document
Oh, yes.
eyeballs, I know.
Oh, great, okay, that's perfect.
And then we also want to see, you know, the measures of what you've done
Right.
for our community as well, so.
Well, I think that's good, if you do a lot for the community, then you should be able to receive some compensation to help you. I mean, that's only fair.
So any other questions?
But if hardly anybody applies and this supply of money sits around that you have available, are you gonna say, let's give it to those art gallery people? All the work they put in.
There's three of us here,
Yeah,
you know.
Our plan is to distribute, we're gonna go over the applications and then decide, and then whatever money's left, that will be given in the next quarter. The next, what was it, fall, not fall, but the next cycle, which is,
But the thought is
April.
that we could also apply again if we have success with it, because I don't know if you asked this on it, but the federal ones always ask, can this sustain itself? Are you gonna keep doing it? We don't wanna give you money for a stopgap thing. We want something that you can perpetuate and keep on, and other people can learn from how to do it, so.
And this can start, as soon as, say we are awarded on November first.
yes,
Any program can start immediately, I mean, it doesn't have to wait.
Once you're
Yes.
awarded.
But it
any
has to
expenses
be
after that.
started by March 30th.
Mhm.
And then it could go through till September 30th, then another cycle, yes?
Yes.
Ms. Shannon, do you have any, questions or?
I love it. I love it. I mean, you know, I come to every meeting, I see the requests, I like that, you know, this is going to, you know, every grant opportunity isn't for every organization. So we do feel for those that aren't quite ready for this, but they know what to get ready for the next cycle. I think it's outstanding. I like the, criteria. Did you all do a committee yet? Have you decided on how you're gonna score? I know some grants do like a public scoring or live scoring, or what
Right
are you all
now,
thinking about for that?
right now, we have the city manager and,
Or his designee.
or his designee right now.
I really don't see that. I like it, I mean.
Yeah, and that could change, we
Yeah.
have, you know, we just have to see how, I guess, the process goes, you know,
Mhm.
so we're learning as well.
Yeah, for now, I think it should be relatively smooth. Of course, you'll have people going, I don't have, but, you know,
That's where we need everyone to be strong.
Yeah.
This is the process.
this is the process, this is the first cycle, we really hope, you know, we'll have other cycles, and this is what, now that we have this in writing, this is what you know you need to prepare for. You need to make sure your, you know, your, what did we talk about, your board and your employees are gonna pass the checks, and, you know, all these things, you know, because it is important, you know, as soon as you start just handing out money, it's great for the moment, but then in the next meeting, somebody's gonna have a problem with it. And say, you know, well, you did this for them and you did that for them, so let's just, you
And
know.
you really don't know how the money was spent.
That's what I was
You don't
gonna
know how the money
say,
is
you give the money and we don't know what it went to, or.
Now the city can say, hey, you know, this is what, you know, now whether or not they tell us the truth, but this is what we asked for, this is what they gave us, and this is what, you know, this is our process to get funding from, you know, from the city. And if it doesn't work for you, then you might have to find funding somewhere else. Go to the county, go to your other organizations and see if they may be able to help you at the state that you're in right now as an organization, so.
And I think
Well, we
I think
appreciate
the
you
residual,
coming.
the side effect of this all ought to be that in a few years, our community has better and more tightly run organized organizations asking for money, because they learned that there's a threshold, that we've gotta
Right.
have, we've gotta do together in a certain way,
Right.
it's not just checks.
It's awesome. I mean, every community doesn't have this. And for Lake City to go ahead and have an opportunity for our nonprofits to come and say, hey, you know, we're gonna support you, especially if it's supporting Lake City. I mean, this is outstanding to me. I think it's awesome, so.
I didn't see staff salaries, rents, Equipment rentals, I didn't see those things precluded. Are they allowable for this grant application?
Well, that would be under expenses, that would be under your expenses.
But some grants do not allow for salaries to be covered, and they don't allow for rental
I see what you're
of
saying.
Yes.
facilities to be covered, and so I'm trying to understand. I don't see where those are being excluded in this, so it does mean that you could actually apply for money for a teacher, as an example. Or you could apply for money to rent a building, for example. And I don't know if that was intentionally,
There's a page that has grant match, what are the requirements for grant match?
The bottom of page 1 and at the top of page 2. But that, I don't see
This
that
is
in
grant
there.
match.
I'm
Page,
sorry?
look at the grant match, grant match page.
okay? Grant match.
Volunteer labor,
But this would be how we're matching
yeah, we're
the grant.
matching,
Again, the expense that we're allowed to make, from what I'm reading, would allow you to hire staff with this grant, or to cover your rental of a facility, like your monthly rent for an office with this grant. And I don't know if that was the intention, but that's why I'm asking you to clarify.
yeah, and we can see that it's not bricks and mortar, we know that, we can't buy a new computer
Can't buy-
system.
Right.
Can't buy a
But can we
building.
pay our curator, can we pay, our bookkeeper? Can staff just
I
pay,
don't think so.
That's-
or a teacher?
That's part of the,
Yeah.
your nonprofit organization's regular expenses. On here,
Okay,
it
so
even
that's not a
says,
project, is what you're saying.
the volunteer labor for your nonprofit organization. So, the time that you put into it is that 26 And at the bottom, it
Which
says,
would be the match.
supplies, equipment, space for professional service, value,
Space.
fair market value. So you have space in here. So,
Like if you had to rent a pavilion or something like that for a program.
but I think what he might be talking about, is he has a space that you already pay monthly rent or something like that, right?
I'll use my own organization as an example. I have no staff. I have no office. I desire to have a physical location. Let's say I find a building on Marion Street and they want $1,000 a month. And I say, hey, can I apply for $10,000 for me to have an office for my 501c3, since we don't have one now. And our project is to get moved in. Now, believe it or not, this isn't what my intention was, but I'm reading your grant restrictions, and I'm familiar with other grant facilities and other grant opportunities, which often preclude you hiring staff, and they preclude you using it for your primary business facility. Now, renting,
No, and I think the specifics are more so in Zoom grants than it is in here, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
It says that you can't do that.
no,
It
Wait, no.
says, it says that you can volunteer labor for
well, that's for
But
your match.
that's our side,
That's our
this
side.
is our side,
Okay.
that's not what a grant funding will cover, will be.
I'm saying, can it be used to augment staff, like, let's say you were gonna create a program to
And
teach
needed
stained glass.
teachers.
And you had
We
to hire,
have.
and you had to hire a special teacher for stained glass.
Yeah.
And their salary was gonna be $20,000 a year. Could you pay 10 and would the city pay the other 10 to cover your employee?
That's not necessarily a program, if you think about it, like what we're saying, if you're doing a class, then it's only for the time period of that class, it's not for,
The nonprofit itself.
right, if you're gonna constantly have a stained glass class,
So that,
All right, so,
that's
Yeah, I
not,
think actually the answer is kind of here at the very first sentence, the first page. It says purpose, the mayor's matching grant provides a nonprofit organization. So that organization exists in and of itself to implement projects that are so by definition, your grant isn't a project, I would say,
not a profit.
in and of itself. for,
Let's do that.
you know, or your, yeah, I would say your rent or, a staff salary if it's not a project. That's-
But if we wanted to do, say, a 6-month program to provide services to veterans,
That would be the definition of a project. Like this is,
I'm sorry,
that would be the definition of a project, like the group that
Yeah.
takes veterans to
or to work with homeschool
Sure.
children, that would be
We
a
still
project,
would
we
need
could
to pay
hire
the
teachers. We could hire teachers under that program, if we were doing a 6-month program
That's
for
what I'm seeing here.
homeschool children,
That's what
come
I'm
in,
seeing.
you know,
We're gonna have to work out the kinks.
Yeah, there's a lot, everything's gonna be worked on, but I think when, it's a competitive grant, so you can apply for what you want to, but when they score it,
Yeah.
and they say, oh, this is not
Yeah,
This
in
might be
alignment with the
benefit
mission, or
10
this is
people.
not what, you know. And then also, every year you can have priorities, you can say, okay, this year, the mayor's grant priorities are this, this, and this. And so it kind of boxes you in a little bit more to what you're gonna receive.
Right.
So, but I gotta take it to his mom. But y'all.
Thank you.
I'm gonna come see you.
I am gonna
You're gonna
take,
go home and that,
Okay, I will.
and I will join you, because I'm like, okay.
Yes, there is.
I am gonna have Jamie, show
I'm not
y'all
on
where
this
you
side.
go on the
On
website.
this side. So,
Come on, dude, you've been sleeping.
But Jennifer,
Poor Jennifer, she's been sitting there.
been listening to our,
That's okay. I was waiting to make sure there wasn't any further questions.
I don't,
And Terry, I did already send out the presentation to
Okay.
you. And any additional FAQs or instructions that you want to update before we launch the morning, feel free to send them to me.
okay,
But we can also post FAQs after the fact if you need like a day or two to pull them together. We
okay,
can post them and they'll be available for everybody to see.
okay, well, thank you very much.
thank you.
I will be in contact this week, I'm sure.
If we gave you email, send us the presentation directly, or do we have to go through?
Yes, he's gonna post it on the on the city website, and you'll just open it on there and click the link. Okay, well, thank you, Jennifer.
Take care.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Okay, so Jamie's gonna go to the city website to show where you will go and locate the application in the morning.
I'm just thinking, first we would have to meet with each other and say, who's gonna take this on and who's gonna be the primary one? I mean,
Absolutely.
what is the project and?
And you don't have to start it tomorrow, it just opens tomorrow.
You got to start
I
thinking.
ain't started.
One that
We're
first
starting already.
Love you, Terry, but
And then she did also say you could add, you know, down at the bottom, where collaborators, where each of you could work on something different and put it into the application as well.
Don't worry, we've got your number.
Okay, so this is the city website. And you will go down, and we
Okay.
have it down here under the mayor's matching grant. You can hit the read more. And then Jamie's gonna have it right there tomorrow. It'll be like a little thing that says hit here, and it will be a link that you'll hit, and then it will take you directly to Zoom.
Terry, in that mayor's matching grant, are we putting this on the website?
Could we put this on there as well? I can get you that one as well. Poor Jamie, he has worked hard on this. It never changed.
and it's City of Lake City.
LC Fly.
LCFLA.com.
And
that-
I know that.
And I believe I have that in.
Oh, yes, it's.
Yes, as well.
City of Lake City
And
West.
it's easy to do.
And I have it in.
And I found the information for this, which is why it bothers me all the time. On Facebook,
Oh, good, yes.
it was on the city's Facebook.
Facebook page, yes.
And then the chamber picked it up and put it out there.
Oh, good.
But it's funny, I will tell you, I called Friday. It's not much information here. You were out of office. And I got the mayor's office, she didn't know about it. And she sent it to somebody else and they didn't know anything about it. And to Dakota, whoever Dakota is, Dakota said, you soon?
How he did
Dakota's in
that.
finance, he's up in finance.
Okay, and then